Okay, think about something really complex in visual effects. Let's say animating palm trees, making them look like they're actually blowing in the wind.
Right. That's tricky stuff.
Yeah, traditionally, that might take a skilled artist maybe 2 full days.
Easily. Sometimes more.
But what if? What if you could nail it, get a perfect result in just 20 minutes?
Wow. Okay. That's a huge difference.
Exactly. And that kind of speed, that efficiency is what we're going to explore today. We're diving into Axio, this creative media company in London.
Yeah, Axio, they started up in 2023, and they're not just, following trends. They seem to be really leading the way, integrating AI into how they work remotely, boosting efficiency.
So this is a chance for you to get a real inside look, isn't it?
It is. And our goal today really is to pull out those key insights, those aha moments from their experience adopting AI.
And guiding us through this, we're looking at an interview with Loris Mantello. He's the executive producer there at Axio, but also an AI advisor for filmmaking.
Hmm. So he's right there in the thick of it, seeing how AI fits into a creative studio day to day. The good and the challenging parts too.
So the mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward then.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We want to understand the practical steps Axio took, what benefits they're actually seeing, the challenges they've hit, and, their view on where this is all going.
Should give you some really valuable context if you're curious about AI and creative work.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Axio, London, 2023. What got them started?
Well, from what Laura said, it seems like it came from a desire to just try something new after years in the VFX world.
A bit of a change of
Yeah,
pace.
and interestingly, they took their time,
Yeah.
about 2 years, he mentioned, in a development phase, really figuring out their identity, who does
Did
what.
not an overnight thing.
Not at all. Very deliberate. And now they're using generative AI, but alongside the standard tools, the DCC stuff everyone uses.
Right, the digital content creation tool. So they're trying to get the best of both worlds.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Enhance the workflows, speed things up, but, and this is key, without sacrificing the quality. It's augmentation, not replacement.
Okay, let's zoom in on Loris himself. What sparked his interest in AI? Was it always there?
It sounds like it came from a really practical place.
Yeah.
As a founder of a 3D studio, he knew all about the pressures.
Yeah.
Tight deadlines, complex shots.
The grind.
Exactly. And just tons of repetitive tasks. So when AI tools started popping up, he saw the potential to maybe ease some of that friction.
So it was about solving real problems he was facing in the business.
Pretty much. His first thought wasn't, let's replace artists. It was, how can this help them augment what they do?
Makes sense. How did those early experiments go? Was it easy?
Huh. Not exactly. He was pretty candid about it. Said he saw cool AI videos online, tried to copy them, and it was frustrating. Didn't know how they were made.
Yeah.
And his first attempts, his word was horrible.
Okay, so a learning curve.
A big one. It really shows that just having the tech isn't enough. You've got to figure it out.
Right, you need the know-how. So that trial and error, it led to this bigger shift, right? Moving from a more traditional setup to really integrating AI. When did that happen?
The switch point seems to be around January 2025. But the real catalyst was a project just before that, late 2024. November, December, maybe?
Okay.
Client needed animated palm trees. Last-minute request.
Ah, the palm trees again? Okay, so this is where it connects. They tried AI first.
They did. Took their 3D model, tried animating it with a tool called Kling. But it did animate the movement, but it messed up the color information completely,
Oh.
which meant the output was basically useless in Nuke, the
Yeah.
compositing software.
Standard tool. So the AI animation didn't play nice with the rest of the pipeline.
Exactly. The format was wrong. It just didn't integrate.
So back to the drawing board.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That failure pushed them to look for other AI options. And that's when they found Comfy UI.
In Comfy UI.
That was the breakthrough. Using Comfy UI, they got that perfect result for the palm tree animation in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. That's
Yeah.
incredible compared to the usual way.
It really is. But here's the kicker. Remember the first attempt with Kling, the one that failed?
Yeah, the color space issue.
Right. Because that output was just an MP4 file, it still caused those integration problems with Nuke. So even though Comfy UI could do it fast,
They couldn't actually use the fast result from Kling in their pipeline easily.
exactly, they ended up having to rebuild the whole shot using traditional CG methods anyway.
How long did that take?
2 days for one artist.
Wow. So 20 minutes potential, but a 2-day reality because of integration.
Precisely. That contrasts the amazing speed of ComfyUI for the animation itself versus the Kling integration nightmare that was the real light bulb moment.
I can see why.
Loris basically said, okay, AI is the future, but we need to figure out how to integrate it properly. We can't get left behind.
Makes total sense. So after that experience, they really leaned in. What have been the biggest wins they've seen from integrating AI more deeply?
Speed and flexibility are the big ones. They can test ideas way faster now, generate lots of variations quickly, which is hard with traditional CGI.
And skipping repetitive tasks.
Yeah, a lot of the boring stuff can be automated, which frees up artists.
That must change how they approach things creatively, too.
Definitely. Loris mentioned shifting focus from like the technical setup to the actual visual choices,
Yes.
the story.
More creative energy, less technical wrestling.
Exactly. And for clients, it means faster turnarounds on feedback, quicker drafts, exploring more options without blowing the budget or timeline.
Quality stays high, but the process is more nimble.
That's the goal.
Okay, Loris also talked about the impact on artists, the positives and negatives. What stood out there?
Well, on the plus side, it's about freedom again. AI handles the grunt work so artists can focus on the core creative stuff, the idea, the style, the narrative.
Accelerating creativity.
Yeah, and discovering new directions faster, experimenting more freely.
Sounds great. But there must be downsides, or potential ones.
There are. He mentioned the risk of losing control if you don't really understand the tools you're using. Just hitting buttons without knowing why.
Right.
And the potential for homogenization. If everyone uses the same AI models the same way, does everything start to look the same?
The sea of sameness worry.
Exactly. So the emphasis is on AI supporting an artist's unique vision, not replacing it with something generic. Informed use is key.
Which brings us to the job question. Is AI replacing artists in Axio's view, or just changing the job?
Loris is firmly in the changing the job camp, redefining roles.
How so?
He thinks AI changes how the work gets done, for sure. But human creativity, that stays central. It's the spark.
So tools evolve, but humans still drive.
That's the perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, some tasks might disappear, get automated, but new tasks, new roles focused on working with AI will emerge.
An evolution, not an extinction event.
Hopeful.
Let's circle back to ComfyUI. You said their first attempts weren't smooth.
Right. Loris admitted their first image generations with it were just bad. He said ComfyUI is super powerful, very flexible, but because it's open source and pretty technical, it can be really overwhelming at first.
Steep learning curve.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing or have a specific goal, it's easy to get lost in all the options, the nodes.
So not quite plug and play.
Definitely not initially. He mentioned bringing in someone with specific ComfyUI expertise was crucial for them to really unlock its potential.
And they built some cool stuff with it.
Yep. One big success was building a virtual try-on system for clothes,
Right.
presumably. And they got this working in ComfyUI production ready, even before similar things popped up in, like, ChatGPT.
Wow, that's impressive. Ahead of the curve. What makes ComfyUI good for that kind of custom build?
It's all about the modularity. You basically assemble these nodes, little building blocks, to create your own custom image generation pipeline.
Like digital Lego for AI.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you really granular control. You can plug in specific styles using things called LoRaS, control textures, colors, blend styles, really fine-tune the output.
So you can build an AI engine tailored just for you.
Exactly. And the efficiency payoff, huge. Once they have a workflow set up in ComfyUI, they're seeing like over 70% reduction in time spent on repetitive stuff.
70%.
Yeah, which means more time for experimenting, trying new things, basically for free.
Right.
And the results are professional level.
And they're not just using ComfyUI, they're building their own custom workflows with it. Why go to that trouble?
Well, the main reason is to make AI fit smoothly into their existing way of working their pipeline and to tackle specific problems they face in CG.
Tailoring it.
Right. It means more speed, better consistency across shots in a project, less repetitive work, obviously, and it helps the team collaborate better because everyone understands the system they built.
So it's about shaping the AI to fit them, not the other way around.
Exactly. Loris used that phrase, shaping AI. It's proactive.
Now, all this AI work needs serious computing power. How do they handle that? You mentioned local versus cloud.
Yeah, they use a mix. Local machines for R&D, testing stuff out, smaller tasks where you need speed and flexibility right now.
Makes sense.
But for the big production work, when you need serious muscle or need to run lots of things at once, they turn to the cloud.
And specifically, they partner with grid markets. Tell us about them.
Right. Grid Markets is this platform for distributed computing, basically renting processing power. They've won awards for it. It's pay-as-you-go, which is great.
No big upfront costs or subscriptions.
Exactly. And crucially, they offer access to powerful NVIDIA GPUs, the graphics cards you need for AI, with lots of memory plus storage space. For a smaller studio, getting that kind of hardware in-house is tough.
Yeah, very expensive. So Grid Markets levels the playing field a bit.
It seems so. And there are other perks, like the results get sent back automatically to your local machine, so no massive downloads.
Handy.
They also have pre-installed AI models and components, but you can add your own too. And secure file transfer with something called Envoy.
Sounds quite comprehensive. But the relationship is more than just tech, right?
Absolutely. Loris stressed that Grid Markets supported Axio way back, even before the big AI push.
Oh, okay.
And when Loris started talking about his AI experiments, Grid Markets reached out. They found they had this shared vision for where the industry was heading, both excited about shaking things up.
Finding allies who get it.
Yeah. Loris said he faced some skepticism elsewhere, so finding a partner who was enthusiastic, who wanted to build something new with them, that was huge.
The real partnership.
That's how he described it. And practically, Axio still has full control over their workflows on Grid Markets. Plus, he raved about their tech support, responsive, helpful. It feels collaborative, not just transactional.
Gotcha. Now, there was this explosion demo they did with Trigital and Grid Markets. What was that about?
Ah, yeah. The goal there was really just to show how they're plugging AI right into their pipeline for innovation and efficiency.
How'd they do it?
The concept was cool. Take a really basic animation preview, like a simple play blast of geometry moving, and use AI to generate a first decent-looking version of the final shot. In this case, an explosion effect.
So speeding up that early visualization, getting a feel for the shot much faster.
Exactly. Tools like that could save massive amounts of time early on, let you iterate visually really quickly.
And this is just one example.
Yeah, he hinted this is just the start. They're working on more tools like this, some still under wraps.
It really comes back to that hybrid approach they keep talking about. They're not ditching the old ways.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Loris explicitly called them a hybrid studio, which he thinks is still kind of rare. Blending AI with established methods, pre-production, post, Photoshop work, using 3D layouts as a base for AI.
Across the whole process.
Right. And they believe this mix gives them an edge on quality.
How so?
By combining AI speed and power with the control and craft of traditional techniques, they feel they hit a higher quality bar than maybe AI-only places can.
Makes sense. Control plus innovation. So what's next for Axio.Studio? Where are they headed?
Well, definitely continuing to innovate on these hybrid workflows, doing more advertising projects like this. But they're also looking towards filmmaking, using their VFX background combined with this AI knowledge.
Taking it to the big screen.
Potentially. Loris mentioned talking to exec producers in film who are feeling uncertain about all these shifts. So maybe Axio sees a role there, helping navigate that.
Positioning themselves as guides in this new landscape. And they've done some high-profile stuff already, right? That Hugo Boss video for the Met Gala with Khaby Lame.
Yes. He called that project a major shift, a real proof of concept for their hybrid model.
What tools did they use?
A whole mix. ComfUI, FluxGym, Midjourney, Kling, Luma. So lots of AI, but also Photoshop, traditional 2D compositing.
Bringing it all together.
Exactly. Blending AI elements with compositing to get a high-quality result super fast for the Met Gala deadline.
Impressive. And wasn't it a challenge with that video?
Yeah. They put it out there. Find which is real and which is AI.
That's confidence. Shows how seamless the integration was.
Totally. And it's worth noting, their whole team is remote. No physical office.
Adds another layer of modern workflow. Now, Loris himself, his role is changing a bit.
Sounds like it. He's stepping back a bit from day-to-day creative direction, focusing more on other studio aspects.
Handing the reins over.
Yeah, to their creative director and the team. His focus now seems more on building Axio as a recognized brand in the industry.
Strategic focus. Okay, last thing. What advice does Loris have for other artists looking at AI, maybe feeling a bit hesitant?
His main message is just embrace it. Embrace the risk, the learning curve.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Dive in.
Yeah, he really believes this is the future foundation of the field. So even if it feels weird or people aren't talking openly about using AI yet, you got to start experimenting.
And collaboration is important too.
Hugely important. He stressed not being afraid to connect with others. AI moves so fast, trying to keep up alone is really hard.
Share knowledge, work together.
Exactly. Teamwork helps everyone stay current. And he wisely put out an invitation. If talented people feel they can contribute to this shift, reach out to him.
Okay, so let's wrap this deep dive on Axio. We saw how that palm tree request really kickstarted a major shift for them.
Right, leading to big gains in speed, creativity.
We looked at the pros for artists, more freedom, but also the cons, like needing to really understand the tools.
And the importance of that hybrid approach came through loud and clear, mixing AI with traditional skills for quality.
Yeah, that 20-minute animation versus 2 days, that really sticks with you, doesn't it? Shows the scale of change.
It really does. It shows AI isn't just a small tweak. It could fundamentally change how work gets done, what's even possible on a timeline. Studios like Axio are definitely showing us what that evolution looks like.
So here's something for you to think about. As AI gets woven deeper into creative work, how will individual artists adapt? Will unique styles actually thrive in new ways within these automated workflows?
Or what kind of new collaborations might emerge between artists and AI. Things we haven't even imagined yet.
Definitely a fascinating future unfolding. Lots to watch.